Jay is co-owner of Utica Capital. Utica Capital is a wealth management firm based here in Tulsa. For over 30 years, Utica Capital has specialized in helping over 1,000 households across the country plan, protect, and grow their wealth. Jay played college basketball at ORU for Hall of Fame coach Bill Self. He played professionally in Europe and China. His travels took him to over 46 countries on 6 continents. Before Jay started in the financial world, he was a pastor at 4 churches and earned his master's degree in leadership. He was the lead campus pastor of Life Church Owasso and Life Church Jenks. He is very involved in the Tulsa business and nonprofit community by serving on multiple boards and speaking to various organizations. Jay is also a past president and chairman of Tulsa Executive Association. Jay has been married for 17 years to his best friend, Lindsay. They have 2 boys, Brady, 13, and Bo, 11. If Jay is not coaching his kids' sports, he and Lindsay are cheering for OSU football, ORU basketball, and the OKC Thunder. Jay has dreams of playing on the PGA Tour and one day winning an Olympic gold medal in downhill skiing. All right, Jay, let's get started.
Great opportunity to be with you guys this morning. Also want to give a big thank you to DJ Daniel in the back for playing the Pearl Jam. You know you're old when Pearl Jam is like the background house music. So thankful for that. Well, having 2 kids here at Jenks, I calculated that this, over 9 years, this is my 60th plus dynamic dads. And today is such a special honor to get to share today with my dad, my father-in-law, and also my co-owner, Aaron Kinney's here with me. So just a special, special morning to be with you. Now, I believe this is the best elementary school in the state, and one of my favorite days of each year is Halloween, and I volunteer as the watchdog that day. I've been doing that for the past few years, and my favorite part is getting to dress up with the kids, getting here early, doing the drop-off line, and over the years, we've had some fun moments. This past year being Elf with Mr. Overton and the drop-off, I could really use somebody else to carry on this tradition. So this is my last Dynamic Dads because my 4th grader is getting ready to graduate out. So if somebody could please keep this tradition going, because next year if I showed up in a costume at an elementary school that my kid doesn't go to, I think you might get arrested. Josh Martin, is that kind of true? That might happen. So please, that's it. So please, somebody can help out there. Well, I may have not had the opportunity to meet you before. A little bit about myself. Can everyone see me okay? All right, I always get nervous about that. Well, I've been asked 2 questions every day, nearly every day of my entire adult life. Guess what those 2 questions are? That's how I am. The other one? Did I play basketball? You got it. Well, growing up, born in Portland, Oregon, my dad worked at university, so I traveled many, many times, moved many times, and I was the new tall kid many times. I was 6 foot in the 7th grade. I was 6'6", in the 8th grade, 6'9", as a freshman, and 6'11" coming out of Arkansas. There's research out there that shows 50% of Americans live 50 miles from where they were born. So I'd love to see in this room, how many of you were born outside of the Tulsa area? See some hands? Okay, the rest of you, you're part of the Jenks cult. And I've never seen anything like it. Jenks people, marrying Jenks people, having Jenks babies. It's a pretty cool thing to see. After I got to play basketball at Old Roberts for Bill Self, and an incredible experience playing there. I knew I was different in 5th grade when I was not one of the coaches. I knew baseball was not my future. The only way I got on base was by getting hit. But ORU was an incredible experience. I got to celebrate with Coach Self when he got inducted to the Basketball Hall of Fame with my old teammates. He flew us all up there. We celebrated properly. But Coach was a very tough coach. And he had this thing every year of preseason conditioning called Hell Week at Old Roberts. Hell Week at a Christian school. I always thought that was really funny. 3 practices a day, and by the end of the week, my body was just breaking down. One time I had a complete body cramp from my tips of my fingers all the way through my toes, every muscle cramped up, and for 45 minutes I passed in and out of consciousness. The training staff was there, they got me stabilized, they got me in an ambulance, got me to St. Francis. A few hours later after IVs, Coach Self walks in, and he puts his face down in front of me in the bed, and he goes, "Son, drink some water and get tough." Coach, he was a very, very sweet guy. Well, about 2 years ago, he had a heart attack before the NCAA tournament, and he had to step out. So I reached out to him, and I told him, "Coach, drink some water and get tough." You know what his reaction was? He didn't think it was funny at all. I haven't talked to him since. But a year ago, I took the kids to the Hall of Fame to see everything, and they saw this display that said, Basketball Hall of Fame Coaches. And we walked in there, and you would not believe it, they had this little display for Coach Self. My kids were going through everything and finding everything, and they discovered our old team picture. And there I was, right there with Coach Self. You know what that means? I'm in the Basketball Hall of Fame. And, you know, kind of, sort of, until they changed this picture. Well, 6 months after playing basketball in Europe and China, I met my incredible wife, Lindsay. She's my best friend. Everyone would say, thank you for that. And we realized when we were dating that she used to sing the national anthem all over the place when she was young. And her dad had a picture of her singing the national anthem at a big event. And when I looked at the picture a little bit closer, I noticed she's singing at an Oral Roberts basketball game. I'm getting ready to play Texas on national television, and I'm literally 10 feet away from Lindsay with my hand over my heart. And what's funny is we did some quick math. I'm a sophomore in college, and she was in the 7th grade, which sounds illegal in a few states. Is that right, Josh? Yes, except Arkansas. I'm from Arkansas. Hey, today I'm going to talk to you about rich habits. We're going to focus on 2 areas primarily, and that's money and parenting. In working with successful people, I've learned that these 2 main areas really define the quality of life that people have. This comes from 10 years of being a pastor and counseling hundreds of couples, and 10 years of working with successful people with their wealth, of helping them plan and define what they want their money to do. So I basically help people build successful lives. Now, success can be defined a lot of different ways, at a lot of different stages of life. Success can be defined when you're age 4, not peeing your pants. Age 10, success can be having friends and knowing who you are. Age 16, having a driver's license. Age 20, having a girl love you. Age 35, having money. Success can be defined at age 50 of having money. At age 60, having a girl love you. At age 70, having a driver's license. Age 75, having friends and knowing who you are. At age 80, not peeing your pants. Thank you. That's a good morning laugh. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. How do you define success? It's an important question because it doesn't happen by accident. My encouragement is success is not a number. You see, we have a big tension in our culture right now, and that's knowledge versus wisdom. We have all the knowledge of the world here in our pocket, but wisdom is applying that. It's a big, big difference. When it comes to these areas, it seems like we're learning on the job with money and parenting primarily. And what would happen if we spent time equipping ourselves in these 2 main areas? How much time, pain, and suffering could we avoid just in these 2 areas? So let's talk about rich habits. What are these rich habits? The first one I'll share with you is the secret to life is in your daily routine. I find working with successful people, they seem to have a consistent routine nearly every morning. And it primarily revolves around exercise, reading something inspirational, and praying or meditating. So I try to internalize this where exercise is a part of my morning. I read some scripture, I pray. One thing I've had to add because I have a bad back is I have to stretch every morning for about 10 minutes. Secret to life is in the daily routine. What's your daily routine look like? The next rich habit is do the little things right. My coaches at Oral Roberts put this phrase on everything. 30 years later, I find this so true in working with people, is doing the little things right. If you've had success in any area of your life, it's because you probably got good at doing little things. Every client I sit down with, I share this phrase with them about doing the little financial things right. I coach a lot of sports teams for kids. This is the phrase I always start off every team with. Isn't that right, Coach Chris? Do the little things right. But they have a little extra to it. When I say do the little things, they yell back, right. So we're going to try it this morning, okay? Do the little things
Right.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good. I've heard better, though. We can do better. We can do better than that. Doing the little things right. Now let's look at primarily doing the little things right with money and parenting. When it comes to money, the first rich habit is understanding that money is to give you options. That is the primary purpose, that leads to freedom. Freedom of time, freedom to choose to spend time with the people that are most valuable to you, being able to seek out the purpose that you have for your life. Unfortunately, most people don't have that freedom. Research shows that 80% of households in America live paycheck to paycheck. 80%. You probably think, well, Jay, people just need to make more money, right? Well, unfortunately, research shows that households that make over $100,000, 40% still live paycheck to paycheck. My hope is to lead people to break that cycle and to live the good life, the get out of debt life. And that's the first rich habit, that money gives you options. Many times I sit down with clients and I ask, hey, where did you learn about money? A lot of times it comes from parents. Many times it's, hey, what to do with money, or sometimes what not to do with money. Teaching your kids money. The world will teach them if you don't. We use a card called Greenlight. It's an app that connects with your bank. You can help your kids use the Greenlight to purchase whatever they want. In our family, we put the allowance on there every week, and they, after food, shelter, and clothing that mom and dad covered, they are on their own. And one of the best moments was when my young man went to Louis with his friends, and he bought queso for the first time. He calls me from Louis, like, Dad, do you realize queso is $10? I'm like, yeah, son. For 30 years, I've known that. It's so expensive. Quit buying so much. Teach your kids about money, or the world will. Let's talk about marriage money real quick. I came across this. I follow this guy. It says in every marriage, there's one person who keeps an eye on the finances, another one who's having a great time. Who's the person keeping an eye on the finances? A few hands. All right. So that means everyone else, you guys are having a good time. Who's having a good time? Okay. Good. Well, being on the same page is the next rich habit I want to share with you. Being on the same page financially with your spouse. When I counsel hundreds of couples, guess what one topic seemed to come up the majority of the time? It was money. Hidden spending, hidden debt, comparison, consumption. I saw it all, and it was tearing marriages apart. Which is why I do what I do today, is I want to make a difference in this one specific area. Being on the same page, talking about money, talking about what your goals are, what you want money to do, what your giving goals on, being on the same page. I found that when it comes to a budget, the best thing you can do is being on the same page, is the transparency with the budget. Some great advice on how to start the biggest fight of your day will be this. Honey, what did you buy at Target? I've had to learn, hey, what category in the budget should I put that large Target purchase in? That goes a lot better. Hey, if you want good kids, spend twice as much time with them and half as much money. And that goes for grandparents too. Twice as much time, half as much money. Be on the same page with your spouse. Next rich habit is more money will never make you happy. I feel like this is a huge danger, and what I see so many times is that more money will never make you happy. And it goes for a lot of different things. More blank will never make you happy. But specifically money, since that's what I work with nearly every day. Best example I can share with you is in 1970, one of the greatest names in Wall Street started a financial firm. Over the course of the next 50 years, billions of dollars were invested with him. He was the pinnacle of Wall Street. He had hundreds and hundreds of people working for him. He had multiple offices all down the East Coast. His last year running the firm, you know how much money he made? $250 million was his salary his last year leading the company. Each and every one of you knows who this person is. What Bernie went on to do is $250 million was not enough. So inside his legitimate investment business, he started another investment company. And he stole $65 billion from thousands of investors and ruined thousands of lives. And why? Because $250 million was not enough. Don't be a Bernie. Everyone say, don't be a Bernie.
Don't be a Bernie.
Don't be a Bernie. More money will never make you happy. The two best financial resources I've ever read is Saving for Retirement and Psychology of Money. You take a picture of these or talk to me afterwards. The two best books I've ever read about money. Each week I get an email from Rich Habits. Little nuggets. It's less than a minute read about strategies and research by extremely wealthy people. It's called Rich Habits. richhabits.net. You can follow that newsletter. The next thing I want to talk to you about is rich habits when it comes to parenting. I'm going to go through this real quickly. Some research recently came out that 75% of the time that you spend with your kids is going to be done by the age 12. Let me rephrase that. Let me say that again. 75% of the time that you get with your kids for the rest of your life, it's all done by age 12. What happens after age 12? They get their friends. They start being involved in a lot of different things. Research goes on to show that 90% of the time that you will ever spend with your kids happens by age 18. The rich habit I want to encourage you with is to make the memories. When you're a young dad, you don't have a lot of time. You don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of health. Let me tell you what changes. Later on in life, you're going to have a lot more time, you're going to have a lot more money, but you may not have a lot more health. Make those family memories. Invest in those. For me, it's getting the family on a plane and getting them out of town. Me skiing with my 3 children. Make those memories. Make those memories. The next rich habit is eat your dinner. My good friend Marquise, met him at church. He served 4 years in prison, and I asked him at breakfast one morning, hey, how do you solve the criminal justice system? I'd love your thoughts. Tell me. And he said, oh, that's easy. It's easy. Tell me. He said, the dinner table. He said, if you get a family around the dinner table, you can't hide. You've got to deal with conflict. You've got to talk. Shut your phone off. You've got to see each other. He said, it's the dinner table. I took that a few years ago and just embraced it in our family. So every time we eat out or sit around the dinner table, we have 3 questions. We say high, low, or buffalo. What was good, what was not good, what was weird about your day. And it can't be PE or recess. It cannot be your highlight. Eat your dinner. Lastly, your daddy loves you. Playing sports and having a scoreboard for most of my life, something happened in my head. Where playing sports for money, I found my approval by how many games I won. What did the scoreboard say? And I really feel like in our culture we have this kind of performance-based acceptance. And I really wanted to protect myself and my kids from that. And I read this article that this guy said every night to his kids, your daddy loves you. And they reply back, no matter what. And over the years, every night before I shut the door, I tell my kids, your daddy loves you. No matter what. Let's try it real quick. Your dad loves you.
No matter what.
No matter what. It's the best rich habit I can give to you. Best resource I've ever read was things I wish I'd known before my child became a teenager. And every week I get an email from All Pro Dad about little nuggets about being a dad, being a husband, and about money. I encourage you to follow these. Got 1 minute to wrap up here. People are successful not on their own. That you have success in your life because you invested in coaching or equipping, but it didn't happen by accident. One of the best examples I can share with you is the GOAT, Tom Brady. I know there's some Patrick Mahomes fans in here. Any Chiefs fans in here? Okay, he hasn't won 7 Super Bowls yet. So Tom Brady, the GOAT. I don't know Tom Brady personally, but my good buddy here does. He actually went to the Super Bowl with Tom's family and in the suite. I'll never forget watching the Super Bowl. I saw my buddy's face, and Tom throws a touchdown, and they all showed him up in the suite, and everyone looked down real quick. And I text him, I go, hey man, I just saw you on TV. Everyone looked down. What happened? And he goes, my son just puked up all over Giselle. Why is Tom the GOAT? He's won 7 Super Bowls. He has a net worth of over $500 million. Supermodel wife. He has gonna have statues built from him. Kids are saying, hey, you're the next Tom Brady. Tom Brady was on 60 Minutes. You can search this on YouTube. Tom, you just won your 4th Super Bowl. How's it feel? His response, man, I thought it would be more than this. Like, that's it. I just won my 4th Super Bowl. That's it. After 7 Super Bowls, Tom retires for a few months. And then I think I'm just speculating on what happened next. But I believe he had a tough conversation with his wife. And he's like, hey, 7 Super Bowls isn't enough. The money's not enough. The fame's not enough. I've got to go back to playing. You know what his wife said? We were not built for Super Bowls. More fill in the blank will never make you happy. That's what we weren't designed for. The test that I use is called the end-of-life test of what is success and what matters. I've had 20 clients pass away in the last 2 years. One of the hardest one was my friend here. I got a call late one night, and it was actually his wife, and says, hey, he had a heart attack, but he's at the hospital. I said, hey, I'll see you guys in the morning. I showed up in the hospital. I knew something was wrong immediately. I walked in the room, the priest was there. His 2 kids were there, and no one was talking, and the machines were keeping him alive. 2 hours before, they decided that they were going to pull the plug because he had already died. And I walked in, and I prayed with the priest. I said my goodbyes and walked out as they shut the machines off. It's one of the hardest and saddest days of my life. Let me tell you what no one was thinking. No one was thinking how much money this guy made, what his job was, what business he ran, how big his house was, what his 401k was like, what car did he drive. It's not what he bought. It's what he invested in. That he created memories. He created relationships. And to me, that's success. And my hope and prayer for you is that living these rich habits and doing the little things right, that they can lead you to the successful and wonderful life that you dream of. It's such an honor to invest in you guys this morning. So thank you, Dynamic Dads. Just 1 or 2 quick questions. Any quick questions about anything I spoke about? Yes, I see. Yeah, Jake, what question do you have?
Like a microphone?
No, just yell real loud. I'll repeat it.
You can repeat it. So, as the tallest male in my family, but didn't achieve 6 feet, do you have any parenting advice on how to raise 6 foot, 6'11" kids? 2-part question. What's the weirdest thing anyone's ever asked you about your height?
Great question, Jake. It's like you would already planned this. When I played basketball in China, my first few days there, everyone kept walking up to me and going, how long are you? I giggled like you're giggling right now every time they said that. Until I realized what they were asking. The other secret, if you want to grow tall kids, Captain Crunch. I was raised on Captain Crunch, ate 6 bowls a day. Isn't that right, Dad?
That's it.
Every night, Captain Crunch. Good question. What else? Yes, I see that hand.
Did you ever break a backboard, and did Bill Self ever get mad at you for breaking a backboard?
That's a good question. I did break a backboard, and Coach Self did try to fight me. After we lost to Villanova, we lost by 8 points. The 3 big guys, we only scored 8 points for the entire game, playing against 2 NBA prospects. In the locker room in the post game, he cussed us out, and then he kicks the locker room door and says, Henderson, I'll see you in the hallway. I'm going to fight you right now. And I turned to my teammates, and I said, I'm not going out there. So yes, Bill Self did try to fight me. Good question. Yeah, Josh?
Who's the most high-profile player that you played against and actually dunked
actually dunked on? Great question. I got to play in the NBA Summer League, and that would have been Paul Pierce. So that's how old I am, is the Paul Pierce days. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great Diana Day.